Okay, so the absolute easiest book to write, a tiny book that changes your life and transforms your business, is a Q&A book, like an Ask Me Anything, a question and answer style book that genuinely delivers your expertise, your experience, your knowledge to your ideal audience, to your readers, to your quintessential client community in a way that doesn't have to be like very, writerly. Like, you don't need to be Hemingway to take real questions from real people and give real answers that truly embolden and empower and inspire your audience with your knowledge, right? So there are lots of different ways of kind of massaging this process. So one of the ways that I recommend people who really hate to write or are insecure about their ability to write is take real questions in an email format, let's say, or ask, if you have an existing audience, ask your clients or your community or your readers or your followers to ask questions in their own, natural language, and tell them you're going to post, you're going to answer those for free. And at the same time, you're going to include those in a book. Obviously, you're not going to, share their names or personal details, and simply do that. And if you have 10 or 20 or 30 responses, that's sufficient to actually write a tiny book that transforms your life in rapid fire turnaround time, right? So you can, invite your audience, and I do this all the time with our little ebooks and things like that, or with clients and community. I'll tell you the truth. I actually joined Facebook groups in areas that I have interest, and I answer questions that they're not even my Facebook groups. They're groups that I'm just a member of, but folks will ask questions about, let's say, something like meditation or, mindfulness, or things that I'm personally interested in, and I'll share my experience. And I will take my answers, which I often spend a fair amount of time, writing, because I enjoy writing about those things, and I'll save them. And then I will take the nature of the question that was asked, and I, never identifying somebody who, especially if it's a private Facebook group, but I'll just paraphrase the question, and I'll answer it, or I'll take my answer, and I'll change it a little bit and incorporate that into a product. This is really a super easy way of leveraging something that I'm already really passionate about, that I'm doing in my free time anyway, and converting that into a knowledge-based resource that other people can benefit from. You can do the same thing with Reddit or Quora or those sorts of, Q&A forums where people are often asking questions, and there are lots of very generous contributors who are answering those questions. If you are one of those generous contributors, why not take your answers and curate them into a collection that makes a tiny product or a book or I have enough of my own content just from several of the Facebook groups that I participate in that would make a long book, not even a tiny book. So, there are lots of ways in which, even if you don't like to write, or even if you don't think your writing is good enough, that you can take your existing content and you can transform that into a book that really makes a big difference in your brand, in your business, and ostensibly in your bank account to boot, especially if you're selling a service, if you're a chiropractor, if you're an attorney, if you are a health coach, if you're a dietitian, if you are a psychic medium sort of person, if you're somebody who's giving spiritual advice. There are lots of ways that you can leverage real questions that real people are asking. You can even incorporate those questions into the book, which gives you a user-generated content component, and then you can actually take your answers and frame those answers as these are real answers. So this is not written in this sort of War and Peace, Hemingway-esque sort of way. These are real questions from real people with real problems that I'm really solving, predicated on my own experience, insights, and expertise in the given subject matter. All right, that's just a really simple hack for, writing a book, even if you think of yourself more as an entrepreneur than a writer, which, to be honest, is most folks. So you're not alone, for sure. It's a very common concern and challenge that I see in the people that we reach out to, is people are like, well, I love what I do, but I can't write. Well, if you're already writing, again, by dint of interacting with your clients, your community, even in these very informal ways, that can actually be a feature, not a bug, when it comes to your book. Teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. If you'd like to write with us in 2024, tiny books, big ideas, I invite you to check out some of the resources below, wherever you're listening to this, whether it's in our community or this will be on YouTube, I'm sure. Feel free to reach out. I'd love to connect and help you write a book that changes your life. Thanks so much. It's the 7th of April. I'm going to record a few more of these today, and I'll see everyone in the next lesson.